How are we getting on, folks? Look today just wasn't our day. Obviously, we had very unlucky, I suppose, runners there as well. The likes of Shea Lake, who I suppose just fell flat to a very very gallant performance by Hugh Morgan on young Dev. Lost his irons for the whole journey and got home just barely crawling on the back of young Dev for about 2 miles and six furlongs. Like it was an incredible watch. And I suppose, to be quite honest, I was actually cheering him on coming into the run in. It was something that I've never seen anywhere before in my life. I don't think I'll ever see the likes of it again. It was definitely top horsemanship overall, and it deserves massive credit. Um, in terms of, I suppose, an overall perspective, it didn't go our way today. Look at I can start screaming and shouting about it all I want. The Nap was a non-runner. This French Dynamite a non-runner. I went against Alco Rouge for Wow Sham. I shouldn't have, but I did. And yeah, look at the rest of the races weren't necessarily great. I suppose great either. Um, Moving on to Fairyhouse tomorrow. If today was tough in terms of trying to predict winners, tomorrow is going to be the very same. It's so hard to call these I suppose glorified point to pints. It's not great quality racing, to be quite honest with you. It's not. It wouldn't be, I suppose, graded racing or anything like that. Like, there's no real massive superstars in the lineup. If they are, they're odds on. It's not a betting day. It's more just, I suppose, a watching brief to see what's going to be coming through in the line of the pint to pint scene and all the things like that. Um, so I suppose, look, we may as well just crack on with things. I wouldn't necessarily be too confident going into tomorrow in Fairyhouse. Just to, I suppose, put things into perspective. My patron my patron pick has actually gone away from Fairyhouse, which is the grassroots where I pride myself in terms of looking up form and everything else like that. So when something like that happens, like it's definitely saying something. But look, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to put up a video just for the sake of, I suppose, putting it up and being consistent more so than anything else. 155, first race on the card, and I cannot look past C. Uh, Actually, no, it's not Seymour Business. It's Show Business, currently priced in around 8 to 11 for Gordon Elliott and Jack Kennedy. For the Moran family here. Realistically, it's a poor enough affair. This Show Business was second to Cold Tour. Was ahead of Zafanian, who put in a very very decent performance last time out. It was in Nace that particular day. It was in Nace actually both days. The third behind this Show Business and the second behind Druid's Altar, who is a very very talented hurdler all the same. If this Show Business puts up the same performance as the last day when it was a neck ahead of this Safani, and it should be more than capable of putting this field to bed. I'd have no real problem saying that this horse is probably one of the classier ones of the meeting now tomorrow. Nothing really standing out in terms of, I suppose, competition for it, and I think 8 to 11. Look at its odds on, but it's a nice enough price for the likes of a double or a treble or an accumulator, whatever you want to do with it. It should be more than good enough to win now tomorrow. 230 then. This race at the moment I'd be staying well clear of because there's two horses in here I particularly like. One of those I wouldn't necessarily be sure of getting in. The fact that it is third favourite or the third reserve, and it's currently favourite here, so that just shows the quality of the field. Um, but at the moment, of the runners that are supposed to be running this Mount Leinster Gold, three uh, three wins there in point to points in concession, some fairly decent form behind it. The quality of this particular horse is unknown to me because I've actually yet to see him run. But just looking at the form book, the form definitely does stand up. Um, I think if this favourite here isn't going to run, that he should be more than capable of putting up another victory on the boards here. I think it's from the Colin Bow yard, so he's going to have the horse well set up and well able to go. And at 15-8, it's a generous enough price. This favourite here, though, the currently third reserve, if this horse gets in, he looks to be some weapon. Walk in the Park, Geldon, I think he is. Very, very impressive bloodline. Obviously, Walk in the Park sired the likes of Min, Duvan. There's many, many more that are by Walk in the Park that are top class hurdlers, chasers, national hunts, sorts, different things like that. So I'd be very interested to see what this sort of horse is going to be like. Interesting the fact that it's sent in the Bulger from JP. Maybe he's going to aim for a Banks race or something like that. I don't know. But currently priced in around 7-4. Would I chance him at third reserve? I don't know whether I would or not. At the moment, I wouldn't anyway. If he gets in, his probably price is going to go even shorter, so I'd probably leave him at that as well. Look, it's a race that I'd be leaving out, personally speaking. I just think it's more of a watching brief at the moment, just to see what way the market's going to go. 3 o'clock then is going to be my nap of the day. A Joseph O'Brien horse, I think, partnered with JJ Slevin. Lunar Display at 5-4. Now, this one here is very, very interesting. It's coming up against a JP McManus favourite here. I wouldn't necessarily be too gone on it. It was third, and it was a long way third behind La Chanteuse in, not Downrile. I think it might have been Fairyhouse that day. Whatever day it was, the race beforehand has just gone out of my mind now where it was. But that form didn't really stand up there today. I was expecting La Chanteuse to be a little bit better. The fact that she pulled up, I suppose, said it all, really. I know, look at the race beforehand, she was 13 lengths ahead of On Eagle's Wings, who definitely does look to be a very nice sort. But yeah, this Lunar Display at a price of 5-4, look at, he was out of his depth in Grade 2 company. I don't think this favourite here is Grade 2 standard, in my personal opinion. I think if this lad is able to show up, I suppose, some sort of capability, the fact that he was entered into a Grade 2 and ran in a Grade 2, obviously, look at Connection, saw there was something there, and maybe this is just an ideal opportunity. Look, I don't know what this JP McManus horse is going to be like. I don't think he's good enough for him. And I just expect to see Lunar Display have it a bit more toe in terms of, I suppose, pulling away in the final strides, and it should be more than good enough in the finish here. But like at a price of 5-4, you would be nearly expecting it too. 3:30 then is going to be the next best of the day. Stansfield here looks to be very, very nicely thrown in here. £26 lower off its Jason Mark. Obviously trained by Paul Trainer, partnered with Darragh O'Keefe, and I think it's from the McNeely family. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's McNeely. The McNeely family that own him. But this horse definitely does look to be a very, very decent sort. Very, very impressive winner in Downpatrick last time out. Was unlucky in Cork. I think it was behind Exit to the West this particular day. It was Exit to the West in Cork in November, if I'm not mistaken. It was a very, very good run that particular day. Ran absolutely beautifully into the race. This horse is generally a straight jumper. He's normally sound, normally stays on very well and puts in his best work in the finish. And Darragh O'Keefe is one of the best jockeys in Ireland. I'll say it here and now. He's a champion jockey in waiting. He's definitely well above his years. He's certainly got great connections there with Bulger and the likes of JP McManus as well, backing him up in a few places. But Jesus, he's something else. He really is. I've always been a massive fan of him, and I always will be. He's just that sort of style about him. Like, he can go from the front, or he can be held up. Like, you can never know what way Darragh O'Keefe is going to go in his races, but he's always going to really give it all, and he's always going to be thereabouts in the finish. Definitely think Stansfield at 5-2 with the weight allowance, the £26 lower mark. I just think it's better, and if the horse is fit and ready to go over hurdles, he should be well capable of polishing this field off. 4 o'clock then, no real bet, or it's a no bet race here. Volcano should be plenty good enough to hose up here. Currently priced in around 4-11 for Gordon Elliott and Jack Kennedy again for the Morans. It's just, look, it's a poor enough field really. It's generally, I don't mean to sound disrespectful to the pointers in Ireland, but it's a pointing field. Like it's not necessarily grade one standard or anything like that. Like now there could be a few down the line that might go on to be grade one standard, but just at the moment, like these pointers need need a bit of experience, and they need, I suppose, a bit of something just to calm them down and just to settle themselves and get them into a racing mind. And this Volcano definitely looks to be miles ahead of the field, and he should be well capable of galloping clear in the finish. But like it's so hard to tell. Like these fields generally do put up an odd owl, I suppose, an odd owl surprise and different things like that. So look, I wouldn't be too gone in that particular race. I just think Volcano is the class above, and he should be plenty good here. 4:30 then. I've always been very, very sweet on full time score, and I'm going to stick by him here, even though he is, I suppose, off the track for 3 years. The last day he ran, I think it was the second, but in behind there was horses like Jack Hackett, who's put up some very, very decent performances since. There's been plenty of others there now, just gone off the top of my head, but it was a very, very hot race he was running in, and there's been some very, very nice sorts coming out of them particular races. And I just think, look, if this horse is anyway good enough, it's coming from the Henry de Bromhead Yard, who do specialise getting their horses fit and ready to run and ready to win on their first attempt. It should be plenty good enough. It obviously owned by Chris Jones as well, and partnered up with Rachel Blackmore. It's like strawberries and cream. It's a match made in heaven, and realistically, this horse should be well capable of putting the field to bed, providing it's fit, providing it's ready to run. No real explanation as to why the horse is 3 years off the track. I don't know, maybe there was just a bit of a problem and maybe just a little bit of an issue that they just couldn't get the horse right. But they obviously seem to have him right now. We tipped them up earlier on in the week as well. I'm going to stick by him, and I'm hopefully going to be right. And even money at the moment is, I suppose, it's value to be getting behind anyway. Finally then, 5 o'clock, Fair Frontier, currently priced in around 6-4. Again, look, it looks to be the most likely winner and the one with the most potential improvement. It was a very, very good second on its debut for the Queelies, I think, trained this particular horse. When it was second to Garda So in Navan last time out, it was only wasn't even a neck down, it was only about a nose or a head down that particular day. So look, realistically, if this horse has any improvement to go on, Garda So is well thought of and well sought after. And realistically, when you think of all things when you think of it all in perspective, like, this horse has the most potential improvement, and he should be well capable of putting a race like this to bed. 6-4 is a fairly generous price in my opinion. I was thinking he'd be more 10-11, maybe not 1-2, but maybe 4-6 or 4-7. So 6-4 is definitely great value in my personal opinion. Don't think there's anything in here really that's going to stand out, or I suppose come with a bit of a late run. They all look to be, I suppose, late bloomers, let's just say. They look like they'll need a bit of experience, and they just look like they're just not there yet in terms of winning races. But Fair Frontier certainly looks to be good enough here and should be well capable of putting the race to bed. But look, I'm going to leave it there. Look, please make sure to keep liking, sharing and subscribing. Hopefully you didn't lose too much money there today, but I wouldn't necessarily be going all mad in now tomorrow. But if you are having a bet, I hope I hope whatever you lost today is won back tomorrow. That's all I'm going to say. Um, like I said, please make sure to keep liking, sharing, and subscribing. We're nearly at the 350 mark in the subscribers, so that's obviously a great milestone to be at. Um, I said if I could get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of February, well, it's not going to happen now, but if I could get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of June, let's just say for my 24th birthday, I'd be happy enough with that. Um, but look at like I said, thanks again for the support so far. Hopefully, the luck will change than what it was there today, and hopefully we'll be able to get a few winners now tomorrow. Look, thanks again. Best of luck tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to get back on the back of a few winners.